but I think it's so important to follow and listen to people who make you feel uncomfortable. Because if you're always following the path where people are agreeing with you and it's safe, I think it's so dangerous, because all the mistakes I've made in my work have been when I have felt safe.
702.
The upside of failure.
Proof that a setback can lead to a step forward.
The upside of failure, as we do on a Friday. So yes, we got to celebrate a bit of music, and now we get to meet with one firecracker of a woman. And I have to say, I couldn't have picked a better person to be with us on a day like today, because I had the opportunity to meet the phenomenal Grace Harding a few years ago at the Forbes Woman event. And I heard her speak, and I hunted her down, and we exchanged numbers. And when I was hosting early breakfast, she joined us then. We're like, why doesn't she come back? Because she's so fabulous. The CEO of Ocean Basket, Grace Harding. How are you?
I'm cool. What a lovely way to end the week.
I'm
Thank
so
you.
happy to see you. Who gave you this makeover? Because whatever's happening with you is fire. The hair's definitely changed up a lot. Even the style. I need to know what you're doing. What are you drinking? Different. Is it ashwagandha?
I have not yet, but I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy it. But I do drink lion's mane.
That is very good.
Yes. And because I have no more hormones, because someone took my uterus away,
Oh no, how dare he?
I have to take all these weird creams and things. But you need to embrace the latter part of your years.
Yes.
And I found a new hairdresser, which every girl needs.
Ma'am, please can I briefly pick your brain about the uterus part, because I know many women don't have these conversations, right? And some people's uteruses there's many different reasons
Take them out.
that a uterus must go, right?
Let's go.
Did that include the ovaries?
No, mine didn't include the ovaries, just the uterus. So we do one purchase at a time.
And how has it affected your hormones in terms of what you've had to adjust? You know, I know when my mom was getting after a certain age, it was all about the primrose oil, the primrose evening oil.
I had my uterus removed when I was 47, so it's a long time ago. Yeah,
But that's quite young.
because I had some other precancerous something,
I
like
got you.
we are all before cancer, and God forbid we all become
Yes.
cancer. But so then they said they must remove my uterus, and I said, cool, how long can I be in hospital for? And they said at least 3 nights. I said, I'm coming, because then I can sleep. And then after 2 days they sent me away. But it didn't affect me. I mean, it's
Yes.
uncomfortable. It didn't affect me. But I think as age progresses, that's why we have the physical impact and the brain fog, because we need estrogen, blah, blah, blah. Even guys need that. But it's just another time of your life. You know, it's
Right.
like when your boobs start arriving, and then when you get to my age, then your boobs fall off. So it's just how it is.
Can I tell you what I've said? I've said to myself, when I'm sure I'm done with kids, like done, right? And the boobs start falling off, I'm going to get them to face the ceiling.
And why not?
This is why we need the men to give us money.
And why not? And there's nothing wrong with a little bit of Botox.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, we must use it. We must take our Botox. We must have our facials.
Yes.
Yeah.
And at this point, you've been at Ocean Basket for how many years now?
14 years.
14 years. Please, for anybody who hasn't heard your story, share with us again how you got into the business, because you're not I refer to you as one of the most non-traditional CEOs I know. And you're like, yes, I've earned that title. And not because of how you speak per se, but just your approach to things is not, yes, we know there are MBAs and business qualifications, but you're always just trying to find what is the easiest way to solve this? What is the way to get the team on board? I mean, the business survived going through COVID. You have taken the business to other countries. It is growing in a season where it is not easy keeping food businesses alive. And then you have people like me. I can't even walk into any of your stores. Please know she has invited me. I'm highly allergic to seafood, and that EpiPen is so expensive. So yes, you have a big portion of the population that can't even step in.
Oh, where to start? Okay. That was about 9 questions, Rel.
Yes, I know.
Okay, so the first thing is no one ever achieves anything alone. And I think we give too much credibility and airtime to people in my job. As much as I love doing this, and I do want to have an impact and share with younger people that there's no such thing as climbing to the top, because I don't know where the top is. I don't know who's on top and who's on bottom.
Oh,
I think
yes.
both positions are adequately effective. You didn't catch that joke.
I saw it.
So
I'm keeping in mind that there are children in cars,
yes,
so I
okay,
mustn't
children.
laugh too excitedly.
Block your ears. So first of all, the world has changed so much. And the first few years that I was at Ocean Basket, I didn't know what I was doing because I didn't come from the restaurant industry. And I often said to the founder, Fats, I often said to him, but why did you choose me? Why didn't you get a real CEO? And he
Yes.
always said to me, what is a real CEO? So anyone who sits here and says, oh, we did this, and then we went to this country, and then we did that, it's not like that. So I will give you 4 minutes of the reality. You try something, you choose the wrong people. You don't realize it. You feel insecure that you don't know what's better. So you listen to them. Things go wrong. Then you take responsibility. Your boss screams at you, which he has every right to. You cry a lot. You go for therapy. You increase your antidepressants, and you get your shit together.
Yes, she meant poo. That's the
Poo,
word she
poo,
meant. Yes.
poo.
BCCSA in advance. I told you guys she's the least traditional CEO. But this is what I love about you. And I love that you painted a very raw picture of what it is like being in a leadership position, because I know sometimes people will be like, the CEOs are paid too much in this country, but you don't, you might not have a full understanding of the level of responsibility that you carry. You still have to answer not just to a boss, in many cases, to a board. And sometimes you've taken all the right advice, but life happens. Nobody predicted lockdown. Did you ever, in your years of life, ever think that our president would be standing up and saying, everybody's staying home, only essential services?
Look, COVID, we can talk about COVID. I think we're all still suffering a little bit of PTSD. I find it easier to deal with crises that are not inflicted or caused by a bad decision I make. So as much as it was difficult, it wasn't that difficult for me. The time where I need more tablets is when something goes wrong and I can see that I've had a role to play. In hindsight, COVID taught us a hell of a lot. It brought the restaurant industry closer. I've never been closer to some of the restaurant leaders out there. I mean, Natasha Sedaris, who's a power woman, you've got to get her on next time. You know, we got close. We worked closely with the other brands. So those were some of the good outcomes. And then there were also bad outcomes. So the fear of what could go wrong, I still think lives with us.
Yes.
And the obsession with saving costs still lives with us in a way that's not always productive. But it's just about working through it. So that crisis didn't hurt me as much as, let's say, opening in the UK and making a mistake for 4 years. But we did get it right. And
Yes.
I certainly didn't get it right alone. I mean,
Yes.
I really, really didn't. So I think people in my kind of role, we're not responsible to the board. We're responsible to 10,000 plus people. I was in a restaurant yesterday with our founder, Fats.
Yes.
And he doesn't often go, he's not so well. And we sat down with the staff and I said to them, each of you, waiters, grillers, tell us how many mouths you feed. And it wasn't less than 5.
Wow.
So I said to him, although there's only 7 people around this table, how many mouths are we feeding? So That has to be the focus. The focus has to be about the impact that you have on the world around you. And that ultimately will benefit the investors, the guys who've put their money and their trust and their earnings. But capitalism, the way we know it, it's gonna change.
It really, really is. I want to take a step back to the part where you say, you know, your boss screams at you, then you increasing the antidepressants and having a good cry, probably sitting in your car a lot longer than usual. At what point does that cycle end, if at all? Because I can imagine that once you're trying to figure out how to get things right and you've got the lay of the land keeps changing. The landscape evolves. There are new targets. There are new goals. Does that mean you're stuck in a perpetual cycle of all of that, or you're at a new phase of being confident in what you're bringing to the business?
I'd like to replace the word confidence with fitness.
Yes.
I think the extremity of confidence is arrogance. And I think that that's more dangerous than fried food. So fitness is important, and it's not about getting over something. I think it's about remaining fit. Now, we will run to the gym to get fit. We will, go and do exercises, buy the latest shakes and protein. And I mean, protein, you got to have protein in everything now. I mean, if they put protein in wine, I'm going to actually go on strike.
It's the next is protein that you can buy the protein water.
Yeah. So why don't we look after our minds and our spirit? And that's what has to shift, because it's like we're living in the ocean, and of course, yes, ocean basket. But the sea is not going to stop. And sometimes the waves are going to be 2 meters high, and sometimes they're going to be 10 meters high, and the tsunami will come. So it's not about getting over a terrible time. It's about being fit to navigate any time.
What have you done to build those capacities? Because I think you touched on the key part of what are you doing for your mind? What are you doing for your spirit? And for you to gain that fitness, it requires increasing different kinds of capacities.
I think it's like any sports person. I mean, Rassie is one of my mentors. I adore him.
You have a very good mentor.
Yeah, he's my fiance. Actually, he just doesn't know. But if you look at the way he looks after his team, it's mind, body, spirit.
Yes.
And I've been in therapy since I was like 25. I grew up in a very inconsistent environment. My mother was always very ill. I spent a lot of time in psychiatric wards as a guest, not as a patient. And I always promised myself, I will always take care of my mind. So I have therapy and I have business coaching. And every now and then I'll even do surveys with my colleagues to say, hey, how am I doing?
Yes.
So I hold up the mirror, and it's difficult, because it's like, because they'll tell you, well, we think you're okay here, but here you're terrible. So you need feedback, you need a mirror, but it needs to be consistent. Just like running every day helps you run further and further and further, but you can't wake up and run the comrades next week. It's the same with leadership, it's the same with life. But society has taught us that therapy is for weird, crazy people. It's not. The people who are in the gym every day are actually the fitter ones. So therapy is good. Everyone, 0800 therapy.
When are we telling Rassie that you guys are engaged?
No, I'm not. I'm keeping it an absolute secret.
I promise I won't tell anybody.
No, don't tell anybody. No one. He can't know this. My husband will be upset.
Listen, how does your husband cope with you other than constantly in stitches?
Oh, shame. My family, all of the members of my family are saints. And I'm very lucky that he's somebody who gives me the space to be who I am. And when I forget to tell him that I'm actually going away for 7 days.
You forget to tell
I have
naughty.
forgotten. Yeah, I have. But now I've got a calendar on the fridge.
Okay.
So I just fill it in there.
Yes.
Yeah. But my communication skills, which is what I'm world famous for in Johannesburg, is something I don't possess at home.
Why does it always work like that, right? And I mean, you can look at some of the greatest leaders of our time, and I'm speaking Nelson Mandela, and you can go backwards. And I'm sure the way that we would speak about that leader is completely different to how the children that were raised in the home would speak about that leader.
I don't know why. My children often say to me, please talk to me like a mother. And I say, well, how does a mother talk? Because I say to them, so I'd like you to step back and look at the impact you're having. I say to them, so what would a mother say? I don't understand. I think also what happens is, especially in the role of leadership and being with people, you're just tired. And I've written an article once, actually, that females, women with children should not be CEOs.
Really?
I have, yeah. Because it's exhausting. And
there are many men that should not ever hear that title because they're going to say, you see, we told you women shouldn't be leaders.
no, it's reverse psychology. But look, it is difficult because as a mom, women are wired differently. So we're not only solving work problems and GP and P&Ls and all of that. We also, because we're wired differently, we see that person sad, that person sad. So who do you run to first? So I often will leave my home to deliver chicken soup to somebody in my team who's had an operation. But it's not about either or. It's about, these are all the people in my life and in my zone. And there are sacrifices. I mean, look at everybody. Look at the people. Look at Steve Jobs. He died when he was 56. He was my fiance, but he died.
I really am confident
Elon Musk
you had
is
nothing to
cuckoo.
do with it. Please don't tell me he's also your fiance.
I like Elon.
Ma'am, talk to me. What's going on at home?
Elon, look, I don't know the detail of his work intimately,
Yes.
but I think it's so important to follow and listen to people who make you feel uncomfortable. Because if you're always following the path where people are agreeing with you and it's safe, I think it's so dangerous because all the mistakes I've made in my work have been when I have felt safe. So now I make sure that I feel very comfortable and anxious.
I need you to repeat that again because what a gem of what you said. So every
bad decision I've made or poor paths I have followed have been when I have felt safe. I have believed I am now safe on this road with these people. They
Yes.
know. And the only way we learn in life, and I don't know why we were created that way, is when we suffer. That's why people change their lives when they get sick, and they have aha moments when terrible things happen to them.
or they say things like, I now see that cancer as a gift.
That's hectic. I've got a colleague who didn't die. She recovered. And she tells me all these things. But isn't it sad? So I don't really want to get cancer. So I try and find other ways to sort of push me and make me go, So Elon's one of those.
I get you. So question then, would you say feeling safe is the same as feeling comfortable?
Everything works on a spectrum. So I think safety is important. It's like people who are not safe at home, all the abuse that goes on in the world and all of those terrible things. So I think you have to feel safe inside yourself and your capabilities. But the extremity of safe is comfort. And the next step after comfort is destruction.
In the Elon part, which I totally like, I so get it, and I love how you've explained that, especially because I genuinely feel within my being that the world is changing in us disrupting the concept of even conditioning. So even when you said the capitalist world as we know it will evolve. So the part about having an ear for people you disagree with or that make you uncomfortable, hopefully not in the illegal sense. When you look around, who are the leaders that do make you feel safe that you look up to?
So Elon is a combination of safe and uncomfortable because you can be both.
Mm.
And for everyone who works with a leader in a sort of traditional job, which won't exist in the future, if that person is not making you feel uncomfortable in a safe way, then you're not going to learn. So it's not about either or. I think leaders who I look up to, it's like the guy I work for, the founder of Ocean Basket.
Mm.
He makes me feel safe and very uncomfortable. I mean, he's the cause of my increase in medication.
Oh my God.
And he's contributed to my ability to grow and be invited to incredible shows with people like you. He's contributed to that. So I don't think it's either or. I mean, what is safety? What are you looking for?
Yes.
And no one should judge what you're looking for because we all make our own choices.
If you're sitting in your car or in your home and you're thinking, is she not going to get fired for saying that about her boss? She really will not. And that is the kind of relationship you should be able to have with your boss, where it's safe enough to speak openly, where it's safe enough to be challenged, and safe enough to increase your medication if you need to. We're going to continue the upside of failure when you come back. It's 2:30.
702.
The upside of failure.
Proof that a setback can lead to a step forward.
The upside of failure as we continue with CEO, global, might I add, CEO of Ocean Basket, Grace Harding, who has been chatting to us about her journey, 011-883-0702, and the WhatsApp line 072-702-1702. I want to read a message saying, I've never met Grace myself, but my partner knew her well. He taught at a school where her children went. She was blown away by the school production and hosted the entire team for dinner. So gracious. She's incredibly funny. So you were that mom that would be like, everybody can come eat at the restaurant.
I love education and I love children. I think one of the things I'm going to do in my future life is teach. And it's about teaching human skills now, to teach people to question and listen, because we've all been brought up to be obedient and to look up to somebody. No one is on top of you. And if you're a leader and you say someone works underneath me, that's very, very bad. And I won't say what it means because we're on the Children Drive show.
Guys, the Children Drive show means there are children in the cars being picked up from school. And the last thing that a parent wants to hear is, that CEO on the radio said. So when it comes to, part of your journey, you did at some point do your MBA. You didn't do your MBA. Why do I think you did your MBA?
I don't know, because it's fashion.
No, it's fashion.
No, so I studied a diploma in 87, but I'm busy with, but I don't like talking about it so much because,
Why?
I don't know, I think MBA is such an amazing educational deep dive, and I think there's been a lot of disappointment around some of the attributes of MBA people, and I don't want to generalize because there are some incredible people. But I'm very grateful to Henley Business School and Barry Van Zyl, who used to be the drummer for Johnny Clegg, who called me last year and said, we want you to do a global MBA. And I said, no, I don't even have a degree. But I got some good references, especially from my boss, you see, who's not going to shout at me because he cares about Ocean Basket.
Yes.
And I am studying a global MBA, which I am absolutely loving. I'm immersed with new thinking and with young people, my teammates. I love them. And I'm learning a lot, and it's really, really difficult. But I'm there to learn and be part of it.
The reason I ask the specific about the MBA is because there are so many people who feel like there's certain things they can't do without any piece of paper, right? And I also think there are people who have achieved so much, but still walk into a room, maybe not feeling like they command the right credibility and respect because on their LinkedIn profile it doesn't say MBA, Joe Soap. And I was curious as to what your views are on that. I mean, I believe people can learn on the job. I believe they can work their way up. I think there's no formal, one path of doing things. But I also understand that if there's a lot on the line, I mean, in government, it's all about qualifications.
It's changing though. Elon Musk will even employ people without degrees. So I think the way it's shifting is years and years ago, you had to go to an institution to learn stuff. Okay. Now we learn in all different ways. So although I didn't get a degree or whatever, I have learned for the last 40 years of my life so much. I've done courses. I've gone to the business schools to understand about finance because I failed maths at school. So there's a big difference between learning and growing your skills and getting a degree. Getting a degree just means getting a degree. And I really don't believe that any leader with a good pair of courageous things, I don't believe that they are going to ask you about your degree. We don't ask. My founder doesn't even have a matric. Steve Jobs didn't have a degree.
Yes.
Okay, Elon's got a degree. Okay, he's a physicist, brain surgeon. I don't know what he is. But
I love how you're saying brain surgeon. If ever you need brain surgery, we're bringing Elon to operate on you.
I think there's too much pressure on the formal way of learning. And I think educational institutions are under a lot of pressure. And the thing I appreciate about Henley is that the learning methodology is more facilitated environment for you to grab information and to interrogate. And that's where it's got to go. But I mean, I don't know, what rules are relevant anymore? You must do this to get this. You must do this to get that. The thing that people have to learn is to be tenacious.
Yes.
When I had my own business, I used to say to clients, cool, I'll work for a month. If you don't like my work, you don't have to pay me. But if you do, whatever you were going to pay me, give me 10 Rand more.
Yes.
So just like put your on a block and off you go.
Guys, she's bleeping herself. I'm just making her way. We're not bleeping her. She's bleeping herself because she cares about the children.
I love children.
In terms of, you touched on the fact that you had failed maths. What was your thinking around failure when you were a kid, as far back as you can remember?
Look, up until, let's say, 5 or 6 years ago, I lived with huge imposter syndrome. And it is more common in women. I don't know why. But every time I got a new opportunity or when I was chosen to lead this business, the little voice in my head was always saying, oh, Grace, no, you don't know enough. You don't know enough. You don't know enough. But then you can choose to either take that and feel sorry for yourself and drown, or to use it as a superpower and make sure you find out. So it was horrible. I used to think I was stupid. I really, really did. And then I learned that I was bad at maths, also because I had such an unstable home. And emotions and maths are connected. So if you have emotional instability and trauma, you will not pass maths. That's a fact of life. They've connected the two.
Wow.
And now I understand it. So, I didn't have stability. I didn't know if my mother would be crying or singing or if she'd be awake or asleep. And then I had to go to the orphanage and then I came home. So it was all cuckoo. So it did result in, do you know Alanis Morissette?
I love
She's got
her.
that wonderful song that says, I'm brave, but I'm chicken.
Yes.
That. So, but you work through it. And at the end of the day, no one's going to save you. No one's going to rescue you. If you don't believe you can, in a way where you still hold abundant humility. Nobody wants to work with people who say, oh, I know that. I know that. I know that. Everyone's been so kind to me. When I went to the UK and I was floundering with Ocean Basket, I didn't stop phoning my friends at Nando's to say, I don't know what to do. What must I do? Tell me what to do. I need advice. And I don't think that they think I'm stupid.
Yes.
I think they think it's cool,
And I'm so glad you're sharing that part because there's a perception that it's all just about competition. You spoke about the restaurant industry being closed. So if I use entertainment, people will assume, oh, these two are rivals or whatever the case may be, where we phone each other up regularly to be like, listen, how much should I charge these people? Or can you be a second pair of eyes? So talk to me about some of the helpers. You know, I'm assuming your friends at Nando's, because they had done the whole abroad thing. Tasha's, I think, who did it first between Tasha's and Ocean Basket? Oh, so Tasha's could call you. So there is that camaraderie.
Yes.
What can we learn about that as South Africans?
I think South Africans are incredibly generous. And I think the minute you are prepared to give unconditionally, like we did during COVID, the first thing we did with my training colleagues is we said, okay, we'll write the SOP for COVID and how to wash your hands and all that. And we just gave it to the industry. So I think we've got to believe that I succeed together with others, as opposed to I win, you lose. Someone asked me yesterday in one of my tea sessions with colleagues, do you know if we're beating Spur in July? We were discussing July's business.
Yes.
So I said, no, I don't know. I said to him, why do you want to know?
Yes.
I said, why must we beat anybody? You know, we all need each other, and we all need to keep each other honest. And Spur need to make the best burgers and the best food for their customers, and we'll make the best fish and whatever. You know, Debonair's will make beautiful pizza, and so will Romans. And look at this, we're all surviving. Everyone is making food. So our intention must never be to beat someone. Our intention must be to win at what we are doing. And I think the minute you become obsessed with being better than or beating, the energy with which you work is a little bit filled with bad voodoo. I even carry my crystals.
What crystals are you? Is that black tourmaline or
yes,
black
tourmaline?
And
this is, I don't know what it is, but black and white, like South Africa. Or like Michael Jackson. We don't care if you're black or white.
How do your staff even work with you? I mean, listen, I'm thinking about your boss and the fact that you're here as the CEO of Ocean Basket, yet every other franchise, you know, you're showing them love. You were speaking about how you serve and service your staff, and you think about the fact that you aren't just 7 mouths, you are 35 because of the other 5 mouths to feed. Outside of your upbringing, where do you think that part of you got developed? Because you could have gone the other way around. You could have been like, nope, I had it hard. If you're not all suffering, then, you know, it could have gone in that direction.
I don't know, the universe. I don't know. I mean, I started working really young, and my first real job after Garlics, which nobody here knows because you're all too young, I worked at the Edgar's Group. And I remember not understanding why the people with certain jobs had big offices and huge chairs, because some of those people were very short.
Yes.
So ergonomically, it didn't make sense to me. I think a lot of that has disappeaed now.
Oh my gosh, a lot of them were very short.
But they were. So they didn't need big chairs. True
True
story.
Great.
And reserved parking. And I think, I don't know, I've always been a rebel. I've always been contrary. I think my colleagues will say, the ones closest to me will say I'm a monumental pain and I drive them mad. And I think they like me. And the guys in the restaurants, they adore me. So, yeah, I don't know. Where does it come from? Decisions you make, impact you want to have. So, yes, my upbringing caused me to want to remove suffering from others if I can. At the same time, I'm very intolerant of non-contribution.
I think it's because your calling is people. which is bigger than profits, bigger than everything else. It
Probably.
is innately built into you. We need to take another break. I see all of your messages and your voice notes, 072 702 1702, and give us a call, 011 883 0702.
702.
The upside of failure.
Proof that a setback can lead to a step forward.
11 minutes to 3 o'clock. We're with the most untraditional CEO. I mean, it's not a real title, but I've made it. I would even make a plug for you called the most untraditional CEO, who is the global CEO of Ocean Basket, Grace Harding. 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. We've got some of your voice notes coming through.
Hi, Relebogile. Yeah, thanks for the guests there from Ocean Basket. Yeah, that restaurant is doing very well. And I'm very happy to hear a leader saying we're not here to compete, because once you compete, you lose focus. But I must tell her that the chicken guys next to her there at the airport gave me a very bad service. And I went and I sat there at Ocean Basket. And I had the best service ever, and I enjoyed whatever I was eating. And yeah, say big ups to Ocean Basket. I've never had a problem with them.
Wow, Relebogile, you are hosting an absolute go-getter. And I actually didn't know her until I started listening now. But her advice, her explanations are spot on. And I liken it to this freedom, this democracy that we have. Little did we know that freedom comes with work. You know, once you are free, you are now free to do everything for yourself. So big ups to her. It's exactly the same as the way when we are sitting down here and looking at the top. We're thinking that, no, they're sitting pretty. But I think what she's telling you is absolutely spot on. Ask our president. She was here in Boksburg.
Yo, Relebogile, I love what your guest is saying, and I feel extremely vindicated because I'm not discounting education, but I am always saying sometimes our emphasis is so much more on qualifications. You know what? We've got qualified government employees, but what are they doing? What is their productivity? So sometimes skills and other things are much more important than the actual qualification. Not that I'm saying education is not important, but unfortunately, we put so much emphasis, and education does not deliver. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Relebogile. Awesome interview with Ocean Basket CEO Grace Harding. Remember standing in longer queues to get in at Ocean Basket in Menlyn Mall, where it all started, and even partying at Fatz's bar about 30 years ago. Love her brutal honesty and no BS attitude. She's an incredible inspiration. We definitely need more women like her, especially on your show. Ladies, you rock. Happy Women's Day for Monday. And another one says, thanks for a candid, humorous, and refreshing conversation filled with unconventional wisdom. It is so lovely, Dr. Philemon Mahuma. How do you feel hearing some of those messages? We've got a lot more to play for you.
Okay, first of all, P.S. Nota bene, you got to learn, hey? So there's a difference between being obsessed with a degree. But if you are not learned, and if you're not learning, then you're going to become irrelevant. So just a note on that. How do I feel? It's a combination of, oh, that's so cool, man. And I'm glad that I'm relevant.
Yes.
And there's always that feeling of, oh, I hope I don't let them down.
Oh,
you know?
yes.
But it's super cool. And I always love it when there is some relevance to young people, because that's my passion. That's what I love about studying now, is I'm studying with people who are young enough to be my kids, and I'm learning so much from them. So if I'm being relevant to that age group, then I'm happy.
Hi, Relebogile. Yo, o mong ka kae mme o batho ba modimo. I am so dead. Yeah, but anyway, there's so much wisdom coming from her. I got the interview halfway. I didn't even get her name, but she's the best. And yeah, thank you.
Relebogile, thank you for having that lady from Ocean Basket around. I'm actually living in London, and on my to-do list is to try Ocean Basket in the UK. So that's definitely at the top of my bucket list. And also when I land home from the UK into OR Tambo, the first place I go to is Ocean Basket because I love their sushi with a glass of wine. Oh, the best. And also the grilled calamari. I must say, Relebogile, your laugh, you've got such a beautiful laugh. Never ever change. I love your laugh. Keep on laughing, dear. Thank you. Lots of love from London. Bye.
Oh my God. She is amazing. She is hilarious. Oh God, I am enjoying this conversation so much. Good evening, guys. She just said something we just spoke about yesterday with my friend. We are in a legal space. We were just talking about how the pie is big for all of us. We do not have to be horrible with each other. It's not a competition. It's not a race. There's so much for all of us in the space. So what she just said just resonated with me. Yo, she's amazing. I love her. I'm going to what's her social media account? I'm going to follow her. I love her.
More messages. I love Grace's openness about her vulnerability. It's possibly the most important gift to free oneself. The only truth comes from the inside, not the out. Wow, Relebogile, what a woman you brought today. I'm so inspired by her authenticity, laughter. She is so natural and a real human. I have a good human intelligence to compete with. I just love her. Ocean Basket is a great basket. I will listen to her over and over again. Another one says that CEO is so funny. Another one says laughing my behind off there, except they use that other word. I adore Grace and I would kill to meet her. Please don't kill anybody. And then Terry says, Jo, Relebogile Mogel is so real. I love her mind. And another one says, I'd like to say thank you for having Grace on your show. I met Grace about 15 years ago. I sat with her and her boss Fats at the hospital with my mom. She sat and just listened and processed and then spoke with such an easy and humble, strong words. What an amazing woman. As we come to the end of our conversation, which we've run out of time.
It must end with your laugh.
No, definitely not. What is the greatest lesson you have learned about failure?
It's a superpower.
It is a superpower. Grace Harding, you are on LinkedIn. Are you on Instagram?
But I'm not very good with it. But I'll get better.
Okay. She's got 2 young people in studio that have goddess braids, which means they know how to set up your TikTok and everything else. And thank you, man, just for being who you are. Thank you for being honest. Thank you for being real. Thank you for being so open. And thank you for just inspiring all of us. You continue to be one of the women I look up to personally. And if you and I could do this weekly, I would make it happen.
Never look up to people. Look with people.
I receive.
Spend your afternoon
With Relebogile Mabotja
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.